Good morning. Excuse me. Good morning. I guess I haven't spoken yet today. I thought I had. Hi, Lori. It's good to see you. It is Thursday, and my hair has got some kind of wacky stuff going on today. I'll be glad to turn the camera to switch cameras and get it off of me. Um, hey, Tony. It's good to see both of y'all today. I am super excited about everything I have to show you today, and I'm just going to go ahead and get the camera off of me so that I can tell you all about it. Um, so today, July is Watercolor Month, which I didn't know was a thing until Stampin' Up! Told us about that. So we are actually going to watercolor today and talk about some of the products that you use in watercoloring that you can use. There's so many choices. And we're actually going to case the project that Stampin' Up! Did yesterday. So I've got everything ready for that. But before I did that, I wanted to talk about kind of what's happening in July, and I've got some scoops to do too. So I have this Summer Scoops Stampin' Special. July is not only watercolor month, but it's the month of my birthday, so we've got lots of stuff happening. Um, but there are ways that my customers can earn scoops, and each scoop is a chance to win a prize. The grand prize is a $50 product credit, but there are other prizes along the way too. So I have some for a special for my customers, and I also have a special for my team. And that is what we're going to do first, because we have some team members that have earned some scoops. So I am actually using the ice cream punch, ice cream builder punch, I think it was called, and it has retired, but I'm going to punch a few out, and we're going to put some names down on that. Let's see, I think I need Debbie, Sally. Okay. All right. Actually, I think there's one more. All right, so I've punched out a few scoops from Fresh Freesia, and we're going to put some names on them and talk about how they got there. So I have, so the way they can earn scoops, this runs July and August for my team. The top two, we won't really know until the end of the month. So at the August meeting, we'll talk about their monthly sales, but they can recruit right now and promote to the next level right now. So that is what happened. So we had Sally Collier has added to her team already this month, taking advantage of that wonderful planner special for celebration. And if you haven't seen the planner, I'll be sure and add some details to the blog post for that too. Debbie Dishman has added to her team this month. So super excited, and congratulations to them. And Tony, who is watching, has added to her team. So she gets one scoop for that new recruit, and she has promoted to silver. So congratulations to Tony. I'm so excited that you're here today, and we get to celebrate you that way. So we're going to add those scoops into the bucket, and then we'll keep adding every week, both customers and team members, and then we will draw in the first live of September. So July. Actually, I need to talk about Tony just a little bit before I jump over there, because Tony just got this promotion for adding someone to her team, and Tony's a neighbor and a friend. She's absolutely amazing, and I would talk about her this way even if she wasn't here. But she was she still is a customer. She comes to my classes, but she used to come to my classes and she'd have her order all ready, and I would remind her that she could get a discount on her purchases, and she would say, "Nope, I'm not going to do that. I like being a customer. I'm just happy that way." And then at some point, the starter kit became more and more intriguing to her, and she decided that she was going to be a happy shopper, a happy discount shopper. And she did that, and lo and behold, she promoted to Bronze Elite. And that was wonderful. That gave herself a 5% raise. Um, so we went along with that for a little while, and then she started hitting the threshold that would allow her to promote to silver if she just sold a starter kit. And she wasn't sure that she wanted to build a team, and that's okay because she has a leader that will help train all new recruits. But as a benefit of promoting to silver during celebration, she's earned some product credit, and she'll earn a bonus on her sales now. So she's going to earn even a little bit more. So she's giving herself a raise, and enjoying this fabulous special as well. So Tony, just once again, congratulations on that. Okay, the July calendar is here, and it is posted in several places, but I want to point out a couple of things. Tomorrow, my in-person BOGO starts, and there are appointments through Sunday for you to shop in person. And then on Wednesday, it will be posted live, online, I'm sorry. And that is in a Facebook group. Although there are other, if you didn't have Facebook, there are ways I'm sure that we can work that out. And you can shop through Sunday. And that means you're going to select from my stash, my personal collection of retired products. And then you're going to shop online. I say that you purchased, you selected $50 from my retired stash, then you're going to go online and select $50 retail there and finalize your order online. And with a $50 order, you're going to get $50 worth of my retired merchandise, $50 of current merchandise. You're going to earn a celebration item, and it's just an amazing, and you're going to earn a scoop, a chance at more prizes. So it's amazing, amazing special in July for that buy one, get one. The only thing that you're going to pay me in that instance is if I need to ship the merchandise to you, you'll pay the shipping to get it from here to there. And I will ship in the most economical way possible. We have some special events happening in our team this month. We have our regular monthly gathering next Tuesday. We also have a special gathering craft day on the 16th, and we're going to do a shoebox swap that day, which is going to be kind of fun, and it's a first for us, so we're pretty excited about that. And we are not on the calendar, but we have our first ever new catalog swap as well, where we are swapping samples and allowing each other to have more samples. Like, you may not have a particular stamp set, and at the end of this swap you may have samples that are made from that stamp set that you can share, and get an idea of what actually you can create with that. You can see I've got YouTube lives every Thursday, Zoom craft nights every Monday, and then I have an online card class on the 21st. And I'll talk a little bit more about what's happening that on the blog, because my samples are actually next door. My mother saw them yesterday and fell in love, and she needed to share some of those with some friends of hers. So I don't have those here with me right now. And then I have Card Club and Christmas Card Class twice. So these are the same two classes, they just repeat. So if Saturday doesn't work for you, maybe Wednesday will. So Card Club meets at 2 o'clock on Saturday. Christmas class is immediately following at 4 o'clock. Card Club meets at 10 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday, and Christmas follows immediately at noon on Wednesday. This card class that's online on the Thursday, so that'll be via a YouTube Live. If you want to take that class in person, then you're going to come do that on this Friday, the 29th. You'll come and make your cards that day. So it's a little confusing because you could also be working on some other things on that Friday, but that is a way that this class becomes an in-person class, as you can come take it on that Friday. Okay. And then my card ministry with my church meets on the 30th. So that's all the chit chat. Gosh, that was a lot of chit chat. Let's talk about watercoloring. So some of the tools that we're going to work with today, we're going to work with this fluid watercolor paper. Now you might remember a week or so ago I worked with the shimmer white cardstock, which you can also watercolor or color on. So today we're going to work with the Fluid 100, which allows you to use considerably more water with your designs. This card I made for the swap that I took to Utah is a watercolor project as well. I watercolored that background and then I stamped on top of it in Versamark and heat embossed white. So this was a watercolor project. In fact, you might guess that I used this particular brush a lot in that project. It is clean, but that is what I used for this. Marvin the Moose wasn't watercolored, but he could be. I actually colored him with Stampin' Blends in last week's YouTube Live. And I'm happy to report that Marvin has met the cut. He is going to appear in the Christmas card class this month with a few other designs. So we'll feature two designs from All Bundled Up, and I believe that I'm going to use the, I'm going to use the Holly, what is it called? Leaves of Holly, page 25. Okay. So we'll do two designs from All Bundled Up and two designs from the Leaves of Holly bundle. So, and I love, let me look at all of this. Oh my gosh, it's just gorgeous. And the All Bundled Up is on page 45. So links to my classes and everything will be on the blog post, which is at michellesalcho.com, and that should be posted by 4 o'clock this afternoon, although I am babysitting today, so if there's any delay, if you're subscribed to my blog, then that will automatically be emailed to you. And you can subscribe to the blog at michellesalcho.com. See how I did that? Okay, so that's a little bit about those two designs. I meant to share this with you before I got past the July calendar. We are featuring masculine birthday cards in the card club this month, and we're using the He's All That, He's the Man. I don't know why I can't remember the name of this, but these are some samples that I have made with this suite, and probably use a couple of these in the birthday cards. I love the way that works, and so there are a few of these that would lend themselves really nicely to birthday cards. So this is not a Father's Day card class, this is a masculine birthday card class. Okay, back to watercolors. I chose to, I told you I was going to case the sample in that Stampin' Up used yesterday. And I toyed with the idea of coming back and using Happiness Abounds. That's what I colored with 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I don't know, the time is kind of wild. But I chose the Cottage Rose for, well, a couple of reasons. One, because I thought it turned out really nicely when Stampin' Up used it in their video. But two, there's a key difference between this image and this image. And this one has all of these artist lines, I think is what you call them. You need a line art image when you are going to watercolor, but this one tells me where the artist that created this design thought the darker shades should be. So because this had more clues for us, more cues, I chose it over the Happiness Abounds. However, the Designer Series paper is from this suite that we're going to be using today. The Designer Series paper that we're using today is from the Happiness Abounds suite. Okay, where do you find all these watercolor products? When you look at your catalog, come back to the accessories index, and there's ink and coloring. And coloring tools, color collections. So we're going to go to coloring tools on page 128. And I think we'll find most everything right about there. Okay. So, heat embossing can play a part of watercoloring. We're not going to do it today. We're following their example and doing a no-line watercoloring. Here are the water painters. They are a set of 3. So these 3 for $13. And I want to tell you that unless something has changed, when you go to fill up the barrel here, they are going to unscrew and screw. It's not righty-tighty and lefty-loosey. It's the other way around. So that's a little different. The papers, where are the papers? Oh my gosh. Sorry, I really thought I knew where all of this was. Okay. The papers for watercoloring are here on page 140. So here's the shimmery white and here's the fluid 100. Okay, so those are the 2 papers that you can watercolor on. All right, now put that back over there. Okay, let's stamp and get started. You guys thought I would never get there, didn't you? Somehow I have reached 150 YouTube subscribers. I'm so, wow. I might have a few little personal goals for myself regarding that number. There's some things that YouTube lets you do the more subscribers that you have. Okay, so I'm going to pull up the Stamparatus because I've already die cut my image. So this is the this floral image. So now I need to stamp it and so that we can color it. And you have seen me do this lots of times. I'm gonna just kind of position this here, pick up my stamp, and I managed to throw myself off camera. Okay, now for no line watercoloring, you want a light color to stamp those lines. And so they used Sahara sand, so that's what I grabbed. And you can see it's just going to give us a real light guide for our coloring, I guess is what I'm looking for. All right, now I need to line up my template, my negative image. And I am just looking for an even amount of white space around. And I'll put one magnet down. I'll slide my die cut in. This is the way I prepare for a lot of my classes. It's easier for me to go ahead and cut those out ahead of time and then pass the image with the Stamparatus around than it is for everybody to stamp and then die cut. In my personal stamping, I probably do a little bit of both. Okay, now typically when you are watercoloring, you want to stay away from these water-based ink pads for your lines because they may bleed. You wouldn't want to use a permanent ink like StazOn, but we are doing something a little different here where our lines are meant to blend into the background of our design and not be a focal point for it. And I'm actually going to leave that there in case, because I've got 2 more stamped out. Die cut out. All right, let's get this out of the way. All right, so we have this here. Now I have the same colors that I think Stampin' Up! Used in their video. So I've got Polished Pink, I have Old Olive, and I have Daffodil Delight. I've got a paper towel and a microfiber cloth nearby for cleaning my brush. and yeah, for cleaning my brush. Now, some people like to squeeze their ink pad like this and create a puddle here. And actually, let me see if I can do that. It's not easy to do, but you can do this and add water here to mix up. And that's what you saw Stampin' Up! Do yesterday. I do something a little different. I actually pick up ink on a block, like, can you see? And work from, add water to it and work from there. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the greenery, and I am going to work with what you might call the fine tip brush, and to add water. Oh my gosh, you can, sometimes you want to, okay, there we go. I know this is kind of crazy. You should be able to, I'm struggling with this whole righty-tighty, lefty-loosey thing. Okay, come on, add some water. There we go. Oh my gosh, I'm going to add water, dump water everywhere if I can't get that right. Okay, there we go. You typically want to wet your paper as well. And I'm going to work in small areas. And that, because I've got water on my paper, it's, you know, it's spreading out that color already. Now, if you get a pool, like I just did, this is where that paper towel and some blotting might come into play, and it might just take all of your color. So I've kind of just gone over the whole leaf initially, and I'll do another one. Let that dry a little bit. And this leaf, I did not wet the paper before I started. I could do just have fun with this. There's no, this is just paper and ink, and it's trial and error that really gives you the best results, and truly just have fun with it. You can take your heat gun and help dry your image a little if you want to speed things up. So I'm just wetting each leaf with one of these. If I heat embossed, so if I stamped this with say Memento black ink, then I could, or Versamark and Memento black, actually, so many choices. The embossing would help hold the color to within the lines, but it would also provide that darkness. Now I want to come back in and pick up some more color. Along these leaves here. So here, this one's working well. This is why I stamped more than one, isn't it? So you just keep adding layers. to get the intensity. If you want, it depends on kind of the look you want too. You know, I love to color with the alcohol blends because that gives me, you know, more control. Okay, and let's wet this one. So this particular leaf is kind of tucked under one of the petals of the flower, so it would have some darkness here in addition to the veins of the flower. And just like you color your with the Stampin' Blends, you can add the dark first, let that dry, and then come back in and add the light. Now I know that I've shared with you that July is the watercolor month. We're actually going to have a coloring series of classes the first of the year because there's so many ways to color. I actually picked up the pastels today and thought about starting with them. Okay, I'm going to set that aside for a second and play with the polished pink. So pick up some more color and okay, hold on. Here we go again. You know how air gets trapped? Sometimes you have to unscrew that. We've already established that that's a problem for me. All right, so my brush is clean for my detail. I'm going to use this brush. And I'm going to come away from the green a little bit. And you can wet, actually there's a spritzer, you can wet the whole thing and start there. And this paper will dry pretty quickly. This ink will dry on the paper. And the artist moved faster and more confidently, didn't they? And you know, you can tell I'm not following the same technique from petal to petal. But I'll come back as these dry. And layer in some more color. So are you all working inside the house? Are you swimming today? What's on the agenda? I'm not sure if River and Hazel know that I'm coming over or not. may have to check with Hope and see what Mimi Camp activities should be going on today. Okay, so now I've just laid down a little bit of water on all of my petals. And I'm adding a little bit of color. Still, individual petal at a time, because that kind of divides them into layers and will provide some of the definition that you don't get because the lines are so light that they will be hidden. I am expecting a delivery from Stampin' Up! Today. I think I've got some more holiday product coming. That's always so exciting. Now, as the water dries out on my block, I can add more water. I can, clean it all up and start over as well. But when I want to add some of the dark, I'm going to pull in some more of the ink from the edges and add the dark. And as long as my paper is still wet, then that will blend in. So sometimes you need to add more water to your paper, or more water to the ink that you're coloring with. This little petal that's hidden kind of behind would be darker, and see, my paper is acting like it's getting a little dry. So that's not blending as much as I might like. So I'm going to add some more water. I hope my head is not in the way. And I'm staying away from that center because I'm going to bring in a yellow for that. I want to add some dark up there. And you can kind of see how the color behaves once you add water. It's much more, go figure, fluid. And some of my pink has escaped up there. But you can see as I am adding in the color how it is just kind of moving around. And I've got a notice that popped up here I'm going to get rid of. So I'm going to let that settle for a few moments and clean my brush again. And I'm going to add a little of Daffodil Delight. I don't want to come into the center of the pink just yet because that's not dry and it will cause it to bleed. But I'm going to just add a little bit of yellow to whatever these little guys are. And that center of my flower, So you can see when I touched it there, kind of brought in a little bit of the pink. So let's see if I can get, so I'm coming in just to the center, the very center, and hoping that that will move around a little bit. And what do you think of the way the green has kind of dried? Can you see? It's not meant to be perfect. It is meant to look just very fluid, and you know the lines are not real distinct here. But they add a little definition. So if I want to come back in, I'm just cleaning off my brush over here, cleaning the yellow off. I can come back into my green and feather in some of the veins, just layering color on top of color. And because they're pretty much dry at this point, the color is not going to move around as much. And that's the same thing with the alcohol blends. If you want to blend your colors together, you work in that second or third color quickly. Work in small areas. So now I've added a little something to the green. We'll let that dry a bit, and we can even come back to the pink. And let's see. You come along the edges. And just continue to add. Like I said, I sound like a broken record over here. If I want that to, whoops. If I want that to move, remember I need to re-wet my paper. And I'm kind of staying away from the center where I just added that yellow, because I don't want these really that is still so wet. Okay, I think I'm going to stop with that and see what the rest of our card needs to look like. I hope that that helped you out, showed you a few ideas for working with that. I think it turned out lovely. Now we need a piece of thick basic white, which I happen to have, I think I have right here. And I am going to score it at 5.5. And then cut it at 4 1/4. There is still time to register for all of the July classes. You don't need to register for the online class. It's on the 21st, I believe. But you do need to register for Card Club or the Christmas card class. And if you want to take that in person, that's awesome. I'll reach out and ask what day you want to come. Here are the 2 patterns that we're going to add, and we are going to make these, let's see, where's my ruler? This is 4 1/4. I'm going to come into 3 3/4 by 5 on both of these layers. That may not be exactly what we want, but we'll figure it out. The cool thing about this design is that it's meant to be off kilter. It's almost like it was meant for me, right? Because I say that because I have difficulty stamping straight. And I pulled out this little tag. I want to see if it is the right, if my greeting will fit there. Oh, I think it will. So that'll give us a little stitched shape if we do that. Don't go anywhere. Oh, my blocks are, that one's not dirty. Can use that one, and I'm going to stamp in Night of Navy, because I'm not messy enough yet, and Night of Navy is my color that creates a mess for me. I'm sorry if my head is in the way. Oh, that is so crooked. Okay, I'll flip it over. Okay, I forgot my own rule. Okay, so I need to see how this is going to stamp. So can I line up the top with the edge? That's a slight bit. Okay, that's better. Let's see if I can get that. Okay, that one will work for me. I think that we are, let me just check. I saved there. Whoops. All right, so I did something like so. I went here and here. And so I could take that down just a little bit. Then they have some die cuts. 2 of those. This. Oh, it looks like they added a layer of vellum in there too. Okay. So this like so. So. And like so. Yeah, and they did a little piece of, I think this needs to come, these need to be a little smaller, and then we need to add a little piece of vellum. So let's cut these down. I'll cut them 1/4 of an inch each way. When this comes to the blog post, all the measurements will be included so that you can recreate yourself as well. And I will add, I can add Stampin' Up's video to my blog post as well so that you can see how the artist did this. I'm going to use a piece that's about, I'm just eyeballing their card. Oh, and I think that should have not been a square. All right, now now let's see how we like this. I don't know what my hair has decided to do. It's gone crazy. Okay, so we'll put this one about there. And they added some twine in here as well. Created a big loopy bow. Okay. And that one. That about there. This to kind of stick out here. And position this flower like so. And added a bow and some butterflies. Okay. So let's see how this is going to look. So I hope that helped you get some ideas for watercoloring. Like I said, I'm going to do a whole series of classes January, February, and March of 2023. And of course, watercolor may show up in YouTube lives and even in Facebook Live and in classes in between now and then. But that whole time period is going to be dedicated to coloring. Now, oh my gosh, what is my hair doing? Okay, y'all don't need to see this, but I'm actually going to build this backwards. I'm going to get a well, I guess I'm not, because there's not one over there. Oh yeah, there is. Okay. We get a silicone mat. Set this just aside for a second and build backwards, meaning I'm going to adhere things to this flower and then put all that down. So I'm going to get this all where I want it. So this little piece of greenery is just going to tuck in right about there. And then this one is going to peek out. Oh my gosh, that's going to be there. And then this I don't really want these as so I'm going to tuck that right there. And then this glue on my fingers. Does that ever happen to you? I know it does. Oh, did you make such a mess with it though? That to be about right there. And now that will show me where I can hide adhesive on the vellum. So I'm going to put this on dimensionals. And attach it to the vellum, and then the vellum we will attach to to the card. And there's glue all over that. Okay, I don't know what they actually used over there. Let's see what I have in my little bag of tricks right here. I have some linen thread, and I have some white. And I'm a huge fan of linen, so I'm going with linen. And they actually came around the card a couple of times and tied a bow. We all know that's not what I'm confident at either. Give it my best. Hardin has volunteered, he's agreed to help me learn iMovie so that I can work at editing these videos a little bit, maybe speed up in the parts that are repetitive, maybe add some text overlays. I know these are all things that can be done. I just don't exactly know how to do them. All right. Okay. So I actually add just a little bit of glue in these areas that will be hidden. And then we need some butterflies. Where are my butterflies? I'm loving this new arrangement in my office. Can't wait to get it even more finished. Take your pick tool to grab some butterflies. Okay, there we have cased the card that Stampin' Up made in theirs. I think it's okay. It is not exactly the same. It's never going to be. No two that you make are ever going to be the same either. But this is some no-line watercoloring. And then we have cased the card that Stampin' Up made in their video yesterday featuring watercoloring because July is watercolor month. And thank you all so much for being here this morning. This will again be shared on my blog. The post should be up this afternoon at michellesalcho.com with all the supplies so that if you want to recreate this card, you'll know what to purchase. And if you'd like to purchase from me, I'd be most grateful. Will be links to take you to shopping in my shop. I'd love to see what you create when you're watercoloring. And you can only see my head. Oh, Annette. Oh my gosh. Hopefully I'm out of the way. You should. I hope that's a comment that I just had my head in the way. Okay, if that's the case, then I'll have to watch this back and do a clean recording so I can get my head out of the way. I am so sorry for that, Annette. Thanks for letting me know. Everybody have a great day, and thanks so much for being here. Bye-bye.